Okay, let's get back to do some mining and crafting. Okay, so we need to probably get some oak wood, I'm assuming here. Jack-o'-lanterns as well. Got a couple of oak logs. Get nighttime. Oh, it'll be so nice when we're finally like rolling in bread so we don't have to eat so much. You got our 1B putting work in still. Wait. Is this a B? Is he returning? Nope. Got a different little B place. Okay, so we're gonna be coming in here, grab the crops. I mean, we're kind of right next to the storage room, so I don't actually think the question is, do we put where do we put the composter? Well, we don't really have to worry about that until we get more oak logs. So make another one of these. Sort. Okay, that big oak tree's gotta go. We got a ton of oak trees here that we need to get rid of as well. Oh, I almost. Oh, man, I almost lost that axe to a melon. That would have been so annoying. We're actually doing so good on getting all the tools so far. The bread empire is beginning. Seven of these okies. You know, if we actually want to do the kind of guess we just put slabs here. Yeah, we'll might have to push the whole wall back and move these crops, but I don't think that will be. Don't think that we'll have to do that. But let's finish up do this side of the whole thing first. All right, we need some upstairs. some glass for that. I think that looks pretty decent. It kind of makes it look like the, yeah, I think that looks good. I mean, worst comes to worst, we will, yeah, it won't be too big blocks to move or anything like that. But it also means that this area, we can do something different with this ceiling too, which will be cool. I think it's nice when you can, like, switch things up. And yeah, once we start getting some food, you know, we'll be able to go do some caving and things like that. You know, stereo orientations, they are, sometimes they get solved very easily like that. Other times, it feels like you could just never figure out how to get them to work. They always interact in a weird way. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! We got a bee. A bee came back. We got 2 bees now. Yeah. Nether, yeah. All right. Okay, I think that looks pretty cool. And then we're gonna do like we'll do a larger, or a large roof here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, bee. No, 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 no. Don't be down here. How are you gonna find your way back? Oh, no, bee. Oh, boy. Oh, okay, never mind. We found it. Ooh, ouch. Okay, I do think, though, that maybe taking just a small trip out, just gathering some sand, because I really want to, like, Place the glass blocks and see how they look. Wait, all the bees came back. What the heck? Did they just get like lost and then like reloading the... Huh. Oh. 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 Ooh. Maybe bamboo blocks would look kind of cool up here. Yeah, it kind of has like a green glow to it, and then, yeah, I like that. We'll test that out at least. It gives us something to do with the bamboo for now. Okay, yeah, we don't really have exactly enough melons to go to sand, but... Okay, cool. Now we got enough. We can start getting bone meal now. Awesome. Okay. So for the walls... do oak wood. And then here we'll punch this in. I think it would be kind of cool to maybe just have some crops growing here, just as like decoration. Then we can put like some glass panes around so that they don't. So if we replace all of this with dirt. I don't think we're really working with too much. Yeah, as long as we make this like, you know, sort of a gradual turn. But yeah, think having it be kind of having being like kind of a big window like this would be cool. I think we're gonna have to expand our bamboo production, which is luckily just about as easy as this. And look at that, all the bees came back. I knew they didn't die. They just got lost. But yeah, my other hardcore world, I did not treat the bees as properly as they should have been treated. Oh, we're in the, yeah, it's just playing whack-a-mole with food. Yeah, we're gonna be able to take off and go do some exploring in a little bit. But yeah, I kind of want to get this. Just kind of figure out what this is gonna look like real quick. Of course, we lost our. So much of this is just oak that maybe. Maybe they should be. Let's do some birch planks just to use the birch. Oh. Okay, maybe that's a little. Yeah, I don't know. That might be the green. Yeah, it doesn't look that great. Leave it for now. These should be birch planks too. blocks rise from the earth. Oh, I almost lost a sword. Oh. Man, that was lucky. All right, feels good to be not in a food crunch anymore. So I think maybe putting some wheat back there would look cool. Then we will put carrots or something up here. Once we have some carrots. Yeah, I think taking the boat over to that, taking the boat over to the mesa right now, because we got food, we have a bed. So I think what we'll do is we're gonna put a composter here and a composter here. So like you put a chip, so you like put the food in here, or food, put the waste in here. The hopper will funnel it down to composter, or Dang, do we need to actually 5 blocks for that to work? I don't know. Well, we need 10 iron for some hoppers though, so that's gonna be another. It's gonna be another big business kind of a thing. But we got plenty of wheat now, so let's craft up some bread. Okay, that was not as much bread as I thought it was gonna be. Oh, we got some more jack-o'-lanterns for the bottom here. Oh, look at that, a bee is already gone. What is going on with the bee? Okay, let's just put everything away. We can turn those into bamboo blocks. 2 shovels and a pickaxe. Maybe an axe. No, I don't think we need an axe. It's a boat in here. The boat is not in here. Ah, the boat was missing. Okay, so we need some sand and, you know, any other kind of materials that we will find along the way. I think the easiest path down is probably over here. Because I know the ravine is right over there. Torches. We should probably bring some torches. Do not want to forget the torches. Let's just do 2 stacks of torches. Oh, jungle logs can fall over too. I didn't know that. I thought it was only birch and oak. You know, that mountain actually is going to have a lot of iron on it. But let's not get distracted. We're going for sand right now. Thought there'd be a way to maybe go around all of this, but... Oh, a village. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a cool looking village too, just on the coast. Those are what I like to call normal villages. That seem like it seems like the not the developers, but the villagers themselves designed it, you know, with some sound principles. And then there's some where it's just like, you know, the village generates on like a cave, and there's like a house like 100 blocks below, and like a surrounded by darkness and mobs. Those are the adventurous kind of villagers. like to live on the edge. Hardcore villagers, I guess I should call them. Oh, hey, another village. 2 rune portals kind of back to back. Yeah, I mean, I'll go a little bit further to grab sand. Oh, the whole thing's just submerged. Okay, yeah, we're not doing that. No, thank you. Okay, maybe this sandbank we can. This is far enough out then. No, that sandbank. That. There we go. Pick up some kelp on the way. Got a monument. It's interesting. I call them ocean monuments, but I think in like the files and all that stuff, they're called just monuments. I guess there's not any other monuments to make need to make a distinction or whatever. Oh, a mushroom island. Okay, that's actually really nice. So now mycelium isn't going to be a huge deal. In my last hardcore world, mycelium was one of the last, kind of one of the last objects that I got a hold of. I don't know if they made mushroom islands like generate better or more frequently. Like I know deserts used to be like a very common biome, but now I think they're like pretty rare, and I think that's pretty cool. I guess we can search for some buried treasure while we're out here too. You know, we don't have a bed. I didn't think about bringing a bed. So whoopsies on that, but I think as long as we just stay along the coast here, keep our wits about us, and orient the boat to be in escape mode. These mobs aren't going to spawn. They're not going to spawn behind us. All the animals showing up. Hey, boyos. Okay. The most important thing to concentrate on right now is the shovel durability. You better not be attacking the horse on me. Oh, Enderman. Oh, Enderman's scary. I mean, we're next to water, so it's not gonna be. It's not instant game over. Okay, but I think I want to stay very close to the coastline because mobs can't spawn within like. I don't know exactly what the range is, but yeah, you can see they're all over on the They're all in front of us right now, so as long as we and make sure we keep the durability on our shovel okay. And I think once we get 2 stacks of Mr. Cat, oh, don't step on the keyboard. Mr. Kitty, Mr. Coop, Mr. Kitty, how are you? Mr. Kitty, Mr. Boo, Mr. Kitty, 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 Coop. Okay. We'll do 3 more sand. There we go. Now, let's take a look at that buried treasure map. Are we close by? Okay, where is the moon? So the moon... So the sun is going to rise. So rises in the east, sets in the west, right? So it's rising from that way. So never eat soggy waffles. That's how I always remember my Minecraft orientations. So this is north, which means we need to be going that way. See, that's another reason why F3 is just not, you know, this F3 is not as fun as just, you know, organically using orientation and things like that. Okay, yeah, now we need to start heading north. Okay, cool. So it seems like it's going to be on the coastline over here somewhere. If it's completely submerged, we're not going to be able to get it. Yeah, it's going to be right on the coast here, but because we're heading in like this, it means there's a pretty large chance that, yeah, there's a skeleton. We could take the skeleton, not that big of a problem. There's a drown below us as well. Yeah, we can... We'll take that, no problem. A trident drown would be not game over, but game intensifies. Yeah, I really want to just jump up here and make sure there's no creepers or anything like that in range. So they're just going to walk over the hill here. Okay. So, outside of something extremely bad happening, I think if we just start digging here. Oh, look at that. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes I'll find it instantly, and then other times I will excavate, you know, 5 stacks of sand. Okay, so these, instead of our first diamond, we'll find double diamonds. Yeah, we'll take the potions of water breathing. We'll definitely take an iron sword. Yeah. I like to leave the chest just so that, in case we find another buried treasure, that leads to that map, or another map that leads to that one. I also do like to fill these in, but because it's so close to the base, we can just come back with an elytra and fill it in. I think the first 10 trial chamber maps and the first 10 ocean monument maps, not ocean monument maps, but the first buried treasure maps, we'll make a buried treasure room for them and use the Heart of the Seas and everything like that. Okay, cool. We got some cooked cod too. This is one of those reasons why, you know, it's like more fun to not like kind of steer away from some of the easier, I don't know, I guess no, it's just, this is just why it's fun to not like just kill cows and pigs and salmon, all that stuff, just to get easy food, because it means, you know, you gotta farm your food kind of manually without using villagers with, you know, wheat and potatoes. And then every once in a while, you know, you'll find some nice fresh fish in a buried treasure chest, and you'll be eating good for six times. So I think we actually have enough. I have definitely enough inventory space that I feel like going up that mountain and maybe um, using up. Yeah, we have another stone pickaxe and grabbing some iron would be nice. We should be able to do that during the day. Really, really, really liking the climate of this world so far. You know, we're on the border of a mesa, so it feels like the base is, you know, in a temperate warm zone, and we've at least gone out in this area and there's no snow or anything like that yet, so I don't know, it's weird. If I like if I'm like in proximity to like a snowy biome or something like that, it's like the world just feels more cold than, even though, you know, there's really no difference between it. And you know, snow on top of like the mountain peaks is not that big of a deal to me, um, because you know, you can have like a mountain in an acacia biome, maybe not in an acacia biome, but like one of these, this mountain could have some snow on it. That wouldn't be that big of a deal. That just means it's very high up or whatever. Either that's just a calcite strip up there, or that's also some snow. Okay, yeah, maybe we should also grab some acacia. Well, hello, free iron. Yes, I think we'll just. This wasn't like the large mountain. I don't think there was another one a little further over. But all right, so let's just put some. Let's put our bread in the offhand. Hey, villagers. I'm very happy that your base or your village is not within render distance of my base, because that tends to mean that you will slowly suffer extinction because of mobs. In terms of, you know, using librarians for books, I think that, you know, I consider the first, you know, one mending book from a villager, I think would be okay. Like if you found a villager randomly and gave it mend, and it had mending on it, I think that would be kind of cool to just buy one. But doing the whole villager restack or whatever, where you just kind of replace and replace the job walk and you just check its for its prices and stuff like that. It's just so. I mean, it is tedious, but it's so overpowered because you just never, your whole gear setup is just solved in a couple of hours instead of over multiple hours of like exploring and things like that. Okay, so yeah, we don't need a stick, and we can also eat these apples as our food to get some inventory. I think 2 acacia saplings should be good. Maybe if we can get a third one. Okay. Alright, let's head up here. Should be plenty of iron. That was another thing with Caves and Cliffs is that they changed the ore distribution. And it's so good now. Like all of the ores have their own different like areas to be mined, and like stumbling across a mountain means you're gonna get so much iron. Finding like a dripstone cave means you're gonna be flush with copper. It's great. Gonna leave these iron here for when we have silk touch. Okay, so we're gonna mine all the iron that we can, and then we should also grab this copper, or not copper, coal. Inventory isn't. I don't have a lot of inventory right now. This is another, a lot of people talk about like how Minecraft has like an inventory problem right now, but I think it's really good for survival. I don't know how good it is for like people who build in creative and then go into survival, and so it's like they're they just kind of feel hamstrung by because in creative they can just switch to any block that they want or whatever and not have to deal with there's no inventory or like space or anything like that. But I think it's pretty good for if you don't play in creative or whatever, you just kind of have to use your. What is that? Is that an armadillo skin? Yeah. Okay, we don't need cobblestone right now. So I watch a lot of or I haven't watched them very recently, but I used to watch a ton of Hermitcraft when I would like play on my other hardcore worlds. Okay, hey creeper. And okay, what did we drop? I guess, yeah, I don't know. Water breathing potions are not that big of a deal. I'm just gonna drop those. But yeah, like I know that a lot of them design their builds in creative, especially like the big mega structures and stuff like that, and then port it over and build it in the survival world. But it just seems like I could understand like the frustration that would come from like I don't know, you can make, especially if you know like how to use world edit and all that kind of stuff, it'd be so easy to finish a build really fast and then but then have it be so tedious to gather all the resources or whatever. Like you know, if you decide to use like dark prismarine or something like that for your build, you know, finding finding dark prismarine in the monuments is actually a pretty fun like challenge. It requires a lot of late game resources and things like that. And that, but if you want to like just, and that's just like exploring and getting a couple of stacks of it. But if you need like shulker boxes worth of it or things like that, then you have to build a guardian farm, and that takes forever. And like, you know, the amount of time it takes to build a guardian farm or whatever is very, very large. Like probably, you know, at least 10 hours, and that's like, I think that's if you're like speed running the water drain. I've done one guardian farm, and I did that with my buddy um, when he introduced me to the game years back. And that was one of the most fun Minecraft experiences I had. But um, yeah, I don't know if I would do it again, like, you know, draining up part of the ocean or whatever for a build. But once the guardian farm was built, you know, it's just experience didn't matter anymore, because you could just go to you could just have infinite experience in there. And then the other thing that didn't matter was sea lanterns. I think that, you know, if you don't have a guardian farm, sea lanterns are like one of the coolest looking blocks, like, you know, in terms of like aesthetics and everything like that. And but they're literally more common than like torches if you have a guardian farm. So it also keeps some of the blocks feeling a lot rarer. You know, like when you see like a one of those like sunken structures or whatever, there'll be like one or two sea lanterns, and then sometimes, and it's just like feels so nice to be able to just go grab one. But like if you have a guardian farm, you just fly past everything when you're just going. You know, like the world feels probably so empty if you can just farm everything. Like I remember when I was watching a lot of Hermitcraft when the gosh, what are those structures called? The ones that are hidden in the ground, from the Trails and Tales. Like I can't remember what they're, but you know, those buried Tails and Trails things or whatever that you kind of like have to excavate with your with the brush, the archaeology update or whatever. I thought that was like just one of the best. I don't know. I love that update. I love the fact that like the desert temples have like the suspicious sand and stuff in them. I love like, you know, just having to be careful about like use the sand blocks having gravity and things like that. And then I was like watching the Hermitcraft, and they were just like, yeah, this sucks. There's no rewards. It's not that fun. And I was like, I don't know. You know, for me that was like one of the best updates they've ever had. And then some people just didn't really like it, I guess. This is interesting because the initial reveal of the archaeology update, when it was just like you would find like an archaeology place or something like that, I thought that was kind of silly because, you know, Minecraft is kind of like you're an archaeologist exploring ancient ruins and stuff like that. But then, you know, when they released it, it was essentially just the brush and some things to use it on, and you know, just so awesome. Like you use block, like it gives, you know, instead of just mining blocks, you have to be like context aware of like where they land and everything. It's just such a good update. And obviously, if every mining session or something like that had to be based on that, but you know, as like as something else to do, finding those trail runes was just so awesome. Okay, so it is now night. We're stuck on a mountain. And there could be mobs coming from everywhere. Okay, we're gonna grab this, and then we're gonna start heading back. Make sure there's no creepers jumping up here. So, you know, and I don't think that the hermits were, you know, wrong for not liking the trail update or whatever, but you know, um, I don't know. I just thought it was like one of the best ones. It's like they did you know, I thought Ancient Cities were so cool with the way they like also contextualize sound and all that stuff. And I was like from a gameplay perspective, I think Ancient Cities are just so awesome. And then they come out with like the trail runes like a year later. And it's just like I think that the Minecraft developers are just they know their stuff. It's just simple and fun. Okay, skeleton. We're gonna be running from that. Oh boy. Oh, okay. Sorry, villagers. Kind of crashing your party here. But I will be leaving in a second. But yeah, watching a lot of Hermitcraft kind of gave me an appreciation for playing the game at maybe a one lower level of like complexity or whatever. Because the other thing too is like all of their builds and like mega structures and all that stuff are just there's no way that I would be able to build any of that stuff because it just looks so good. So I'll stick with just like small farms and or you know small rooms and plots and things like that. Kind of like my old hardcore world, and then maybe sometimes build like a big structure. Okay, so don't think that heading back in right now is the best idea. You know, going down a mountain in the dark is fine because as long as you don't like you get lucky and you fall in a pit hole, you'll be all right. But going upwards that's a recipe for disaster. It's in the middle of the night too, so just sitting here and waiting the whole time isn't going to be very fun either. So we'll maybe just land here and then maybe try to like torch our way up. No. It's like I feel like it's just not going to be that big of a deal to head back up there, but at the same time, I'm also so terrified of the spear zombies. And, you know, one of those can just be lurking in the jungle brush. You wouldn't even know. Alright, made landfall. We'll just... I'm also putting torches down, you know, just so it'll make, you kind of like moving through the night a lot easier. I mean, we'll probably have an elytra before this will matter, but kind of adds like a sense of place in the world or whatever, so you can kind of see that you've been in areas. Like there's that, there, I think, oh, there's actually a bed over there. I forgot about that. Yeah, because we just had to craft a bed because it was scary at night. So as long as there's nothing around here, we're good. Nice. The other thing about the trail runes that was really cool was that the music disc um, was apparently an ode, kind of like had some of the like similar motifs to Minecraft Legends. I never played that game, but I think the fact that there's like a small little linkage from the main game into it, like just in the form of like you explore this little forgotten land or whatever, and then or forgotten ruin, and you come back and you get a little song, and it's just the same as reminds you of like the main theme of the other game. I think that's super cool. All right, we made it back, no problem. Start cooking some sand, get some iron. So normally it's like I have a first diamond of the world, but this was the first 2 diamonds of the world, so put those here, and then maybe when we get like actually this is going to be a good spot for them, because instead of just having this painting here, we can just have 2 item frames with the diamonds. Awesome. Yeah, alright. So now we know what to do with that little spot. That's kind of cool to get I didn't know. I guess that means an armadillo got killed there. I didn't know they could just drop the scutes. I thought you had to like shear them off. Okay, now the bees are back. Let's use this stone sword. It is so satisfying to harvest bamboo. Okay, so we're gonna destroy these 2 melons, because I don't think we really need melons anymore. Now that we have our bread economy going. We want to make sure most of the stuff is just pumpkins at this point. Our little pumpkin patch. Nice. So I'm going to start waiting until most of the wheat is full, just to so it's easier to just harvest it all. Unfortunately, we did not find any more crops, so we'll just have to wait on that. But we do have enough iron to make a hopper. Make 2 hoppers. Go to just in here. Oh, we got one lane done. Making progress. I'm just gonna put that sword away because I know that I'm gonna use it to harvest that bamboo, and it's just not that is all of the durability, more than all of the durability was used on that. Okay, make some more of these. You can put the buried treasure. Put the boat away. I haven't really needed this. I haven't used the spear yet. That's just been sitting in my inventory doing nothing. All right, chests, chests, chests. Hoppers, so satisfying. Usually sand still there. Gravel's gonna go here. Leaf litter can go here. I don't know. I'm just putting the stuff away until we get item frames. We can't really item frames and a floor. A floor would also be a nice thing to have. Alright, let's get some slabs. Let's make some composters. Alright, so here's our put chest. So we can have a hopper. Oh, we're gonna need more than 2 hoppers. And then we can put that right there. And then a hopper has to go on top of that. Okay, yeah, we need, this is going to be a 3 hopper setup, alright. That's fine. You know, I don't even really think that we need, I don't even know if we need the chest. And it's not like we're ever going to have more than 5 stacks of wheat, right? Like, wheat seeds. Even then, we could just run over to the other side. That way we could. And now, yeah, if you put a full block on top of the hoppers, that just locks them. You used to have to, you used to have to put composters on them because that was like one of the ways to kind of fix, like the hopper wouldn't like cause lag by checking for items on top of it, but it would check the composter every tick or so. Okay, yeah, we don't have a pickaxe anymore. probably for maybe about another 20 minutes, but then I gotta go take a break and go work out for a little bit, but then I will be back. So we have another pillager patrol, but no wandering traders, so that sucks. Where are they though? Really like to know where the pillagers are. Well, maybe they just wandered off somewhere. Oh, okay, they're up there. Okay, well we got a tree line. Yeah, and we have an iron sword. We have plenty of food, so they're not a threat anymore. What I know, I read in the beta for the village and pillage update that the raiding parties would spawn with evokers and sometimes ravagers. I think that's absolutely insane. I don't even like just to be like sitting there like farming your world and then like a ravager starts attacking you. That's pretty intense. But I don't think that made it out of the beta of the. Maybe if you were playing on hard and maybe after like 20-30 hours or something like that they started spawning like that, I could see that. Or if you like after your first raid has been taken out, I could see like a progression like it. But you know, if they just spawned after like the first 10 minutes, that's pretty crazy. Unfortunate we haven't seen a wandering trader yet though. They always have some goodies nowadays. Okay, yeah. Well, we do need to harvest all that oak, so so let's get the spear and see what that does. Oh, okay, they wandered off. Ooh, that's an enchanted one. That could be dangerous. Yeah, come on. Come on. I just want to harvest my wood. I wonder, can they see me through the leaves? Yeah, well, I'm just gonna ignore them for now. tricky. You know, this seems like a good spot for the shelves. I guess stairs would actually do the trick here too. Well, yeah, let's make some shelves and let's make some. How do you make a shelf? Stripped logs. Okay. Would have not expected that, but that's cool. I do not like the shelf. We're going to use stairs. I have to figure out something with the shelves, but yeah, I think for... Actually, wait, no. We may be still using shelves, but we also need to get some stairs. Ouch. And then we do oak logs like that. Just have like a... Yeah, then we could just have like a flower patch here instead. Get the dirt out of there. Need an oak slab. Oh, that was silly. Oops. Oh, dark outside. Another bee lost. Oh, it's even got range on it. Okay. Oh no, the bee is not lost. I think that looks really good. Yeah. So we'll just do that on the other side too. Actually, maybe. Do a whole block there. Yeah, we're gonna have to put like a light source or something there, but you know, maybe it's not that dark. All right. Okay, I really need to use the restroom, so I'm actually just gonna sign off here. I'll probably be back in like an hour or so. Yeah, amazing progress. All right, I'll be back.